Here are 5 simple steps to turn an old Belfast sink into a fernery. Now, a fernery is essentially a really posh way of saying like an area filled with ferns, and in this case, it's going to be a sink. Belfast sinks were built to last. They are huge, chunky ceramic sinks. Now, the reason why they do make such great planters is they've obviously got drainage built in. They've got a sinkhole. They're a generous size. They've got a bit of depth to them. I didn't even pay for these, although apparently you can find a lot of them on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. My neighbour over there actually had these 2 sitting in her garden from when she moved in. They're not even hers, they're from the people before. Now, I know the sun is shining, but it is still a little bit chilly. I've not got many layers on for some reason, so I'm gonna go inside and tell you why you should love ferns too. I need a quick cup of tea. It's thirsty work, all this gardening, all this fernery making. Ferns are thirsty, just like me. You don't get any flashy flowers. Now that is a fact, but you do get loads of structure. The leaves are really cool. You have these amazing little fronds that unfurl as they grow. So what they do lack in maybe petals and colours other than green, although there are some that are actually a little bit brown that are good in the Belfast sink too, they do really make up for in just cool patterns and shapes. They're incredibly hardy. We have quite a few actually in the house. We have a lot called aspleniums. They look a little bit similar to this, but this is actually a Dryopteris. Aspleniums have these really thick leaves, these cool paler ones, these deep dark greeny ones, these cool kind of like crowns in the center, with these crazy unfurling fingers of more foliage. But the best thing is they're kind of happy in a shady spot. So if you've got a tricky part of your garden that doesn't get much sun and you think, well, I can't really grow much in there, ferns are a good shout, and that's why they're going in this Belfast sink, because the Belfast sink sits underneath the silver birch. At the moment, it's still kind of early spring, so a lot of light is getting through there. In the summer though, when those leaves are all packed out on that tree, not much light is going to get through. That's why ferns are pretty handy. And then the last bit of convincing I'm going to do is they've been on the planet for like 350 million years. That's quite a few more than you and I, so why wouldn't we help them stay here even longer? That's why I'm kind of obsessed with them. This one probably knew a dinosaur. This one definitely knew a dinosaur. Now we know why we should love ferns. Let's just crack on with step 1. Add a crock over the drainage hole. That's basically a bit of smashed up old pot. That's going to stop the soil filling the hole. Step 1 done. That was pretty easy. I guess after step 1, probably step 2. Now, although ferns do like to grow at the bottom of trees and in forests, which is naturally maybe a little bit more damp and dark, we do need to make sure that they don't just sit in boggy water. They're not bog plants. So I'm going to be adding some horticultural grit to the bottom of the Belfast sinks. It's quite a heavy job, this one, isn't it? Oh, this is quite heavy thinking about it now. Keep on coming in this way, and I've planted a whole bunch of alliums along this border that are just coming out. So by the end of this job, I'm probably going to have crushed them all, and then I've got no alliums. That's gardening, especially when you've got big feet. I've only got size 9, to be fair. Are they size 8? Yeah. So size 8.5. When you're adding your horticultural grit, you want to make sure that you try not to dislodge the crock, because obviously that's there for a reason. What do we want? Not Bogzilla. Smooth this one down as well. Oh, good Lord. I've got shaly gardening fingers. I shan't be eating cheese crackers anytime soon. Look, every gardener has a weird compost storage system. Mine's just stacked up by the garage. Leave me alone and don't judge me. Step 3, getting the soil mix right. Now again, we want to add some drainage material into the soil because these ferns don't want to sit in a soggy pot, do they? Obviously, I'm going peat-free compost because we all should. We don't need to be using peat-filled compost. Go peat-free, it's better for the environment, which, if you're a gardener, you love the environment, so just go peat-free. It's actually not far off because I'm going to be adding another layer on top, but that's a different step, not just yet. Okay, on to the next step, which I think is step number 4. Now's the exciting bit, the planting. Now, I've got many choices. You need to think about where you're going to be looking at your planter from, which is mainly going to be, well, any angle when it's here actually. At the moment, we've got these Cadron daffodils bouncing around in front of it, but they're not going to be there forever. Before getting stuck in, kind of place your plants in the pot. These are quite low down ones, aren't they? Polystichum setiforum plumosum densum. Very catchy name. Let's just call it, oh, mossy soft shield fern. Let's just call it that, shall we? This is a Seibold's wood fern. It could be quite cool if you kind of mirror over there actually. Now, people always plant in odd numbers, so I guess we're looking at 5 in this, but I still think you just want to do whatever you want to do. Like, if you want to put 4 in, just put 4 in. Don't forget they're going to grow over time and spread around a little bit. Maybe they'll even have a baby, who knows? So do what you think is the right thing to do. You don't have to follow every gardening rule. I'm not being funny, I haven't. There's some awfully shaped beds over there. That one's just a slit. Now I might be cheating because I have actually got something that isn't a fern. This is a tiarella. It's an angel wings variety. It's got here that its little nickname is Foaming Bells. $5.99, what a bargain. Now I've got a whole bunch of tiarellas over there in a bed by the bird feeders, and I put 4 in there. It's their first year and I'm hoping they're going to spread. They're really, really cute. These flowers have actually lasted forever on the ones at the front, so I'm hoping they're going to do the same in this little tub over here. You can see these very, very cute little flowers that are kind of blossoming and coming out all over it. They look a bit like a heuchera or a heuchera, however you say it, aperitif for the eye. So I'm going to put some of these in. These are slightly shorter, so why don't we do that and that? Maybe that goes here, so they kind of continue across there, although that's maybe a bit too symmetrical. It's too symmetrical, it's going to go like that. So we've got 2 different shapes. This one's more of a, I mean, I don't know anything about football, but let's say 3 defenders to 2 attacking midfielders, whereas this is more like a different sport entirely. You've got sort of 2 defenders, 1 midfielder, and then 2 up front attacking. Ferns are pretty easy to plant. You just kind of tip them upside down, get them out of their pot, and you can see their roots are kind of almost like a bit of a wet lettuce or lattice, potentially, around the pot. I'm going to tickle them just slightly to tell them that they've got somewhere new to grow into. There's quite a lot of room, I guess, in this pot, and I might have to put some food in occasionally. I have to Google that and find out. But dig a little hole, and then it's going in. Now, I'm going to be adding like a topping, so I'm going to plant it a little bit proud. Whilst I'm doing this, I want you to tell me, have you ever turned a sink into a planter, or, oh, this one's a lot more dry. Have you ever turned a sink into a planter, or is there anything else that you've turned into a planter? I've done a lot of buckets, a lot of coal scuttles, colanders from TGI Fridays I've even done. There's a little guy in the village that I think does like house clearances and shop clearances. He's got a whole bunch of wonderful steel and iron things that I go and buy from him. So yeah, let me know, what have you planted up that was never supposed to be a planter, but you've transformed it into something like that? This is the final step. I'm going to be adding a topping to my Belfast sinks. Usually if I'm going for toppings, I'll go for pepperami, or I don't know, maybe even like, I would never choose pineapple, let's just put it out there. But today we're going for bark. Now the bark does a few things. Acts a bit like a mulch on top, so it helps retain moisture. It also looks kind of cool. Ferns are kind of foresty, so it's fun to have the little barky layer on the bottom. Makes it look even more foresty. And it would just maybe help suppress a few weeds that if they get in here, it might sort of stop those seeds kind of coming up to the surface and pollinating and growing and doing whatever they're not supposed to do. It does kind of just neaten it up a little bit more. These old sinks have got a few battered bruises, so once I give them a little wash, there'll be a really clear distinction between the muddiness of the soil and the white of the ceramic. So I think it just helps it look a little bit more neat and tidy. Now I might have to reapply the bark, maybe, I'm going to keep an eye on it, but maybe it's going to be like every other year. Just have to give it a little top up of bark. As it breaks down, it'll feed the plants a little bit, which is kind of cool. And that's it. Very simple. Just got to give them a bit of water. Make sure that those roots go exploring. Now there's maybe one last step. I did get them a little bit dirty. So maybe I'll just give them a quick clean, which is such a boring job. Let me know if you're going to give it a go, if you've got an old sink, or if you know someone that has. Or if you've got a fern that you're obsessed with, tell me which one, because maybe I could give that a go too. There's many dark spots in my garden that need a little fern, so let's get that fern addiction rolling.